You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, guys, we're going to be talking about Ja Morant here in this video. As you guys already know, Ja Morant has been away from the Grizzlies. And technically it was really kind of a suspension, to tell you the truth. But initially the Grizzlies said 2 games he would be out. And then they extended it to 4 games. He said he was, quote unquote, getting help for issues that he's actually dealing with. And we all know this actually stems from his behavior, bringing a gun into a nightclub, a gentleman's club in Denver. Now, Ja Morant now has been handed an 8-game suspension by the Marxist NBA of China. Now, looking at this, I was initially saying, all right, he's going to start an 8-game suspension. No, because the games that he's already missed from the Grizzlies, that's going to count towards this 8-game suspension, even though the Grizzlies never actually said this was a suspension. And I believe the Grizzlies did this because they knew that the NBA would investigate it and then he would get in trouble. And it's pretty close to playoff time right now. And teams are actually trying to establish their playoff position. So that's why they got rid of Ja Morant for 6 games. And really, guys, the NBA has just suspended him for 2 games. 2 games. Let's go ahead and dive into this here on ESPN. Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant has been suspended 8 games without pay for a conduct detrimental to the league, the NBA announced Wednesday. The suspension covers the 6 games he'll miss. He already missed, I guess, including on Wednesday at Miami. Morant is eligible to play on Monday against Dallas, the same day he's able to rejoin the Grizzlies in the team environment. Morant met with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver in New York on Wednesday over his handling of a firearm at a suburban Denver nightclub earlier this month. And this is what the Marxist NBA of China's commissioner actually put out. Quote, Ja's conduct was irresponsible, reckless, and potentially very dangerous, said Silver in a statement. It also has serious consequences given his enormous following and influence, particularly among young fans who look up to him. He has expressed sincere contrition and remorse for his behavior. Ja has also made it clear to me that he has learned from this incident and that he understands his obligations and responsibility to the Memphis Grizzlies and the broader NBA community extend well beyond his play on the court. Well, I guess he better get better people around him, because when it came to that whole laser thing, now I believe that the NBA said that they couldn't find any concrete evidence around that. But Ja Morant clearly needs better people around him, because he's just going to get dragged down by being around the wrong people. Now, initially, there was like some report that if he actually did violate the CBA by actually bringing a gun on that road trip, because it was actually official NBA business, that he could be suspended for something like 50 games. And then it came out that that's not necessarily true. But it looks like the NBA, when they did their own investigation of him, they couldn't prove that the gun actually belonged to him and that he actually brought it on NBA business. Because look at this here. It says the league said based on the information obtained during this investigation that it did not conclude that the gun at issue belonged to Morant, was brought by him into the nightclub, or was displayed by him beyond a brief period. The investigation also did not find that Morant possessed the gun while traveling with the team or in any NBA facility, and the Colorado authorities did not find sufficient cause to charge Morant with a crime. Now, we know when it comes to these leads and they do their own investigation, just because the police don't find something, that doesn't actually mean that you can't get in trouble. We've seen it many, many times where Roger Goodell has actually punished players, even though nothing came out of it criminally. Morant has been seeking assistance for what he described in a statement as a need to, quote, to get help and work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and my overall well-being. And that's taking him out of Memphis on a leave from the team, sources said. Morant entered a counseling program shortly after making the announcement. So he's been away for what? Roughly a couple of weeks, and now everything is supposed to be A-OK with Ja Morant. I mean, I'm not buying this whole thing about stress. I believe he just makes very, very bad decisions. That's what I believe right there. Do I believe he's a changed man? I don't know. I highly doubt it. I mean, if you want to act like a thug all the time, what is 2 weeks actually going to do, and is going to make you really, really change the way you are? I hope so, for his sake. I really do. The man has the potential to make upwards of what, $231 million over the next 5 years because that new contract kicks in. I mean, this guy was definitely putting his career at risk. But just because you see those dollar signs in front of you doesn't mean that you're going to change the way you actually do behave. Look at Aaron Hernandez, by the way. And he's dead right now. I hope Ja Morant doesn't actually go down that road of Aaron Hernandez right there. Guys, what do you think of this? What do you guys make of the NBA suspending Ja Morant really for 2 games? Because the Grizzlies decide, I guess, to jump ahead of the game and just say, hey, he's gonna be away from the team for 2 games. Then, it's going to be additional 4 games. It was a suspension. I actually called it a suspension. And now the NBA has just come down and just given him a 2-game suspension, really. But overall, it will end up being 8 games that Ja Morant is going to be away from the Memphis Grizzlies. This counseling program, I don't know if it's actually going to change him. I really don't. He needs to surround himself with better people. He needs to mature. I know he's only 22, 23 years old. I get it. You know, we were all 22, 23 years old. But I'm pretty sure the people watching this video here, we have never been paid the kind of money that Ja Morant's getting paid. We're not high profile like him. People expect more from him. They really, really do. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, Ja Morant, 8-game suspension, which is really 2 games by the NBA. The Grizzlies, they did all the hard work. They're the ones that actually let him go, set him down, didn't play him. And now it kind of worked out because the NBA, they really have done nothing. If that gun was actually found to be his, it probably would have ended up with Ja Morant being suspended for the rest of the season and the playoffs. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.